What?
All right, welcome everybody. We are live once again at the DoPL Arcade. It's Dire Pass Level, the podcast that remembers. Brandon, it's our MJ episode. It's episode 23, and your boy is battling a small cold, but the show goes on. We've got an awesome episode ahead of us. Let's start as we usually do. Brandon, our good old boy, how is he feeling today?
Man, I feel like I need you to carry me like we do in all of our multiplayer games.
We're not messing around this episode. We're going for the dub. I'll do my best, Brand. How you been? What's new? Any good weekend activities? I know you're playing Hades. Talk to me about your journey.
While Beth and I were playing last night, she has her Switch on her end of the couch. I had put the Switch on the main screen TV. We were cracking up because we saw you log in and we're playing Animal Crossing. We're like, what is Ray doing right now? What's he playing at 9:30 at night? Wasn't it?
Oh, okay. So I can explain. My oldest daughter, she's back into Animal Crossing. I probably turned the Switch on, and that was the last game that was being played. I had to exit out so I could play Hollow Knight Silksong because she's all the way back in on Animal Crossing all of a sudden, and she's selling all my stuff, dude.
Oh, man.
Wait, what are you doing with all that? She's like, you can sell it. I'm like, why? She's like, you don't need a hot tub in front of your house.
Yes, I do.
Just take it.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm never going to play the game again, but still, for some reason, it hurts.
When my oldest daughter was playing, it would drive Beth crazy seeing her chop down stuff, not pick it up, just leave garbage around the town. She's like, "What are you doing? What are you?" She just didn't care. She thought it was funny just to leave garbage everywhere.
She's paved some of the roads with stamps. It's fine. It's fine. Do your thing, kiddo. Do your thing. How's Hades?
It's glorious and everything I ever wanted in a sequel. Putting a lot of hours in, and yeah, it's been great.
Yeah,
Loving it.
I checked your hour log out. It's impressive.
I can't believe that Nintendo does that. Like, dude, don't be showing everyone how many hours I'm putting into these games.
Yeah, my Hollow Knight numbers are probably atrocious too. I think I'm at least 30, I think last I checked. And to your credit, I think you've eclipsed that number, and Hades came out quite a bit after.
I'm not kidding you. It's kids go down, and we are picking up our sticks and playing until 10:30. Weekends are even worse, right? It's gonna be real bad this weekend. Real bad.
I mean, I don't know, right? And you probably don't know either, but are you feeling like you're close to completing your first run, or have you already?
I've definitely done the first run, but you don't know like what that means as terms of the game. Like the game goes on forever. You think you're getting far, and you're like, oh wait, I just actually tip of the iceberg. So yeah.
So you've defeated the quote-unquote final boss?
In Hades 2, there are two. You can rotate between which ones you want to tackle, right? So
So does that mean there are two different like biomes or like levels to
yeah,
encounter?
you have two different new sets to play with. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll talk about what I'm playing. You guys already know. I'm playing Hollow Knight Silksong. There's this part in this game where everyone online talks about, oh, you think that's hard? Wait till you get to Biowater. So I'm like, whatever. Bring me Biowater. Let me show these scrubs how it's done.
And
I got to Biowater, man. I hate that place, dude. It is so poorly designed. I'm so mad at Team Cherry for making this world, dude.
is it intentional? Do you think like it's intentionally bad?
Dude, they did this to us on purpose, dude. It's healing in Silksong and in Hollow Knight is integral part to your success. You're gonna take damage in this game, but if you deal damage, your healing ability, your meter fills up. But when you fall into the water in Biowater, your healing ability, you have to use up your heal to get rid of the curse. And then you have to deal more damage to finally heal again. There's enemies that spit water at you and put the curse on you. You've accidentally fall into water traps. There's a bench. The bench is the save point in Hollow Knight. There's a bench that trolls you beneath. You're like, yes, finally a save point. Thank you. You sit on the bench and the bench collapses beneath you and there's no saving. And so every time you die to the stupid boss in Biowater, you have to make the run back to that boss. It's like a 15-minute run full of treacherous enemies and obstacles. Unless you find a hidden bench that I just found close to the boss fight. I'm like, okay, solace, finally some safety. I got the bench, went to the stupid boss, finally defeated the boss. All is well again. I fought harder bosses in that game, but just the design and what they do to you in this particular part of the game, it's a nightmare, dude.
I guarantee you it's Blighttown. It's Blighttown on Dark Souls. It sounds exactly. I don't if you never played Dark Souls, but there's level in Dark Souls called Blight Town, and you go down into it, and it's pitch black dark. You can't see anything, and there are poison arrows that'll just hit you out of nowhere. And you're like, I can't even. What's happening? You're gonna poison me, and then you fall off, and then you're gonna fall into poison water while you're getting poisoned, slowly, having your life being drained. It's the worst. I guarantee you, these guys made their blight. This is our Blight Town level.
I'm laying in bed with on my Switch, and Kim's just like, "What are you playing?"
You can't emote too much because the person's right next to you, so you're just like,
Exactly. So I'm just like, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me?" That's what I've been up to. Also, while I'm here, I wanted to shout out this coffee shop. I'm almost done with my coffee, but I just went to this place on my way over to recording called And Destroy. And it's right next door to Revenge of, which is a comic book shop. They just opened a coffee shop next door. And I got me a little blueberry muffin coffee. Absolutely delicious. But the funny story about it is that I've never signed up to any rewards programs at any restaurant or store. You want to be I don't know, burger buddy and get like a free burger after 10 purchases or whatever. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. They were like, "Hey, would you like to sign up for our membership program and gain XP?" That's all it took. Oh, yes, absolutely. Where do I sign? Do you need my social security number? I can't believe it. As soon as they said XP, I was like, yeah. So shout outs to And Destroy for finally cracking the code on getting customers. Brandon, hold on. We gotta hold that thought for a second. Do you hear that? Look who's here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. It is Anjali Bhimani. You may have seen her many appearances on television. Modern Family, Miss Marvel, Pretty Little Liars, All My Children, the list goes on and on. You may have also heard her in animated series like X-Men 97, Glitch Text, Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and so much more. We here at DoPL fell in love with her as Symmetra in Overwatch and Rampart in Apex Legends. Say hello to Anjali Bhimani. How are you doing today?
Oh my goodness. I just want to point out how impressionable I am because of being an actor. As soon as you guys started screaming, I started screaming. I was like, "Oh, yes, and let's scream. We're screaming now. That's what we're doing."
It's the improv in you.
You know, it's also the like I want to fit in me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, FOMO is my warlock patron, so I'm here for it.
So how are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great. We got a lot of fun things going on over here. I am exhausted, but exhausted like the right kind of exhausted when you know you've been doing like really fun stuff and spending your time with really fun people. So it is a beast of my own creation. My exhaustion is definitely something that I cannot complain about. It's something it is satisfying, very satisfying.
Put in that work, doing what you love, can't be mad at that.
Nope, can't be mad at it.
Talk to us a little bit about your trajectory into the gaming world and how that all kind of unraveled for you.
Sure. It's funny how you called it unraveled. How it appeared. It all fell apart. Surprisingly, my introduction, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but my introduction to gaming was actually tabletop gaming when I was very, very young. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was 8 years old. And then my parents got us an Apple II Plus. So we were learning the very basics. We were learning the very basics when we were kids. My older brother was 4 years older than I was, so he was a little more adept than I was at that, but I was trying to keep up, learning basic programming and such. And then we had the Apple IIe, and then we had an Atari, which was really kind of the gateway into gaming. I mean, obviously there was like Breakthrough, which was its version of Pong. I remember Pitfall being the first one that I was like, this is so cool and so advanced. Oh my gosh, what a fun new world that we get to play in. So that was kind of the beginning of my gaming experience. That and then Castle Wolfenstein, but before first-person shooters came out. So it was the original. All I remember is it going, Achtung, kaput, and then you're out. That like still strikes fear into my heart. So I continued playing as I got older, and in high school, when I began to play D&D even more, I started to play the Forgotten Realms PC games. So Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, the original Baldur's Gate, mind you, not the recent one. Neverwinter Nights, Shadows of Amn, all of that, kind of the fantasy stuff that was set in the Forgotten Realms. Continued to play probably through, I'm trying to think what year that was, but I can specifically remember when I was like, you have to take your life more seriously. You are running home between shows and playing video games. between your matinee and your evening show. You gotta be a serious person. You gotta
Lock
do
in.
all of these things. Exactly. You gotta lock in. I don't know why that was what I thought was the thing that was making me not serious was games, but I went ahead and like deleted my games from my laptop. Sad day. Thus began the dark days of gaming, as I call them, because ultimately what brought me back to gaming was being cast as Symmetra in
Mm.
Overwatch. And that was when we got our first PlayStation. My husband and I thought we were going to be able to play together. We discovered we weren't. That was a little bit of a bummer. I'm like, well, you can go on a computer upstairs and I can play down here, but it's not going to quite be the same. But it brought me back to the gaming world and to the modern gaming community, which is so different from what I remember because in between my time and now, there was this tiny development called the internet. So all of us now can connect through games in a way that we never could before. You could talk about them with your friends, but you couldn't necessarily connect with people all over the globe. And now we have that. And especially with Overwatch, which wasn't just global because you could play with friends all over the world, but it was global because of the characters you were playing and the locations that you were playing, and because every character was more than one aspect of who they were. It wasn't just Symmetra's the Indian one. She's Indian, she's a woman in STEM, on the spectrum, she's an amputee. We found out when that magician skin came out, like all these different intersectionalities of who they are and the experiences and the lore behind it, making them who they were. So I was so blown away by what the gaming world had become and these games that were coming out. It was a level of I don't want to use the word representation because it means so many specific things to people, but it was a level of representing the complexity
Mm-hmm.
of people and the complexity of characters in a way I had not seen in any other medium other than books. And I work a lot in TV, work a lot in film, work a lot in theater, and even there we were struggling to find those depictions. But here in this game, not only was Symmetra all the things that I just described to you, but she was also a result of how she responded to her experiences, which is what we all are, right? We are not the plot points of our story. We are how we respond to those plot points. That's what makes us who we are. I love Symmetra so much for that reason, because whether she's with the right company to do this or not, she has noble goals and she believes she is doing good. She believes that she is making the world a better place and that she took her own personal struggles as a reason to make the world better, not a reason to become bitter about it, which is something we all need to learn to do if the world is going to survive, right? So that was my reintroduction to gaming. With that came not just the game, which was special, but this extraordinary group of people who were in the cast. We didn't get to act together, but we got to meet because Blizzard was kind enough to throw us some cast parties and stuff when it came out. And so we became very tight through the experience. But then also this extended gaming community, this modern gaming community that was full of artists and cosplayers and writers and people who were so generous with their artistry. And it really changed the game for me. Because in all the other mediums that I'd worked in, you didn't really get to connect with your audience that way.
Yeah.
When I'm in a TV show, chances are I'm not going to get to talk to a lot of people who have watched the TV show. If I'm in a play, I might see whoever waits at the stage door that night, but that's it. That's all I get. But this game, people were inviting these characters into their homes and playing through them and experiencing this experience through them. And that for me just cracked my heart and my head open in a huge way. And realizing how powerful a medium gaming is to affect change in the world, or to help people learn empathy, or to tell stories that just kind of change people's lives because they have agency within them. So yeah, that's my really long answer to your short question.
No, I love it. Just to add to that, you saying that you came into Overwatch and kind of being introduced to like a whole new world of gaming where the world building is such a whole new thing, right? Well, I'd argue that, at least for me, Overwatch was one of the first to do it. You not only
Yeah.
came into a world that did that, you were part of its creation.
Oh my goodness. Well,
It,
I am very, very lucky. Like, I do believe that, luck is, as they say, luck is preparedness meeting opportunity. I'm extraordinarily lucky to be a part of this game and a part of this cast and a part of this community. I know some people call them fans, but they are a community. They are embracing us. They are the ones who are giving to us.
it was the first game probably. especially in like the multiplayer world. I grew up playing a lot of competitive fighting games, and I dabbled a little in the story as much as the game was willing to tell me. But Overwatch really, over at Blizzard, they wanted to let you in on
Yeah.
everything. And so it
And
was.
they wanted to make it so accessible. Because look, I can't play first person shooters to save my life. If I'm playing as Symmetra, which is the only character I can play as without dying in the first 30 seconds, chances are I'm walking off a cliff or walking into a wall. I'm really bad at them. But there are so many ways to get into the lore of this game. There are the short stories, there are the cinematics, there's so much that people can share, which means that families can share them, which means that even if your mom doesn't play, she can learn about these cool characters that she's hearing in your living room while you're playing for hours on end. Like, there are ways it can connect people. For me, storytelling is the core of everything. It's the tree trunk, right? All of these different mediums, TV, film, theater, games, all of those are just branches of the tree. What they did with that game, and what I've seen so many other companies do beautifully, like Respawn's done with Apex, is to say, cool, yes, this is where the world is starting. This is the core game. If you can't play this game, if you don't want to play this game, whatever it is, there are so many other ways you can be part of this world, and we invite you to take those in. That's really special. That the
Absolutely.
story is at the core of it. It's really special to me.
And even on the gameplay standpoint, right? I got buddies who are terrible at first person shooters, but like there's mercy for that person. And there's other ways you can contribute to the team dynamic. The way they just get everyone involved. Like you said, you can find a character, or you can stay outside of the game entirely and just learn about them online and do research. And it's a great story.
Terrible at it like me, and you feel bad about shooting your friends because all of the people in the cast, I'm like, that's my friend's voice, I don't want to do it. You can play the events where you're playing against the computer, and then you're not embarrassing yourself with a team of people that feel sad that you are in it.
Yeah. I also know you have like a big background in musical theater. I'm curious what character has lent itself most to that background and experience. On the other side, which character did you have to kind of throw away that training for?
Oh, interesting. There's no question. Stray Gods, Medusa. Stray Gods was a video game that we did a couple of years ago that was literally a musical video game. So, for those of you who haven't played, it is similar to how other RPGs, whatever decisions you make, change the story and change whatever branch of the story you get to hear, what lines you get to hear. With Stray Gods, whatever choices you make in game, you will literally hear different pieces of a song. You will have different experiences of the characters through song. It's such a cool and clever and innovative game. And the team behind it, the team at Summerfall Studios, are so wonderful. I will work with them on anything, anywhere, anytime. Having David Gator working on the writing and the game directing, and Troy Baker directing it. When you have someone who is also a friend that you trust implicitly because you've seen that they know what they're doing, when you have them directing you, it's such a relief. It's so freeing. Troy just knew what to say or what not to say at any given moment. And then, of course, Austin Wintry, who wrote the music, who is also known for writing like a gazillion different soundtracks for games like Journey and others. And his work is so beautiful. But that one, I really needed my music theater training, not just because I was singing. So when you get an audition for a musical, you usually have someone who is singing in a different key, or not key, but a different register. You'll get it plunked out on a piano sometimes. So that's what I got for Stray Gods, was some dude plunking out the song on a piano. And I was the first character that they recorded. So they were also figuring out like the logistics of how do you record these pieces. And it was written on sheet music, which for me was very helpful because of my musical training and my musical theater training, that I could see, okay, we're jumping from this measure now, we're going to jump down to here, and now we're going to jump to do, I could really visually see where it was going. And also just read the actual music so I could see where the notes were and where we were going to change things up. God, it was such a wonderful combination of three of my great loves: video games, musicals and musical theater, and mythology. It's one of my favorite characters I've ever gotten to play. As far as throwing it out, I don't think I throw anything out. It's like a car having different gears, or like I often talk about it this way, like it's different languages, but all with the same root language. If you learn Spanish and then you learn French, they're very similar, but they're completely different languages. But there are certain things at the core of it because they both come from Latin. If you think of theater as Spanish and voiceover as French, and the core of it is acting and storytelling, it's really just a matter of technical differences. So I have refused stubbornly through my lifetime, both through college and in my career, to choose one medium. I don't want to. I want them all. And I love it when they combine. So I don't throw anything out. I just pick and choose what tools from the toolbox I'm going to get to use.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds a little like me, Anjali. This podcast is a bit of a culmination of a lot of my backgrounds. I used to be a singer in a band. I used to compose music for animation. Through that, I've learned to edit audio. I love video games, and
Amazing.
that all kind of just came together and made
Well,
this. And
isn't it wonderful that we live in a world now where that is encouraged? I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, it was very much like pick a lane, do this thing, everything else can be a hobby. And everything in my being said no to that. God, I remember arguments with teachers in college where I was like, why can't I do all the things? Of course I can do this all. There's no conflict in the schedule. Of course I can do these different things. But there was just there wasn't that comprehension. Now, I think we live in a world where it's very unusual to only be doing one thing in one lane. And we have the freedom to sort of create these bespoke careers and therefore lives where we get to pick and choose. Okay, well, I love this thing, and I love this thing, and I love this thing, and now let me throw it all into the milkshake of my life and see what comes out. We're really, really lucky to be living in this time for that reason.
yeah, I think your body of work is kind of living proof of what you just said. Honestly, it's
of my
really cool.
inability to make a decision. Yes, that's true. That is accurate, yes.
Speaking of all the different facets and all the things coming together, me and Brandon were talking earlier about how Dungeons and Dragons is not really the side of the geekdom we live on, but how we would love to be educated on it. And seeing as to you have lived in this world since you were 8 years old, I think it'd be a very opportune time for you to give us your pitch for Dungeons and Dragons and explain it to us. And I want in, Anjali.
I just want you to know, you saw my face, Brand. I take such delight in introducing people to the world of Dungeons and Dragons and all TTRPGs, tabletop role-playing games. I take such joy in that because it cracks open a whole world of fun and excitement and spending time with your friends and enjoying it that you haven't experienced before. And I think everyone should at some point. So Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy-based game-playing system. Similar to long-form improv, you are telling a collaborative story with your friends, except you are not getting suggestions from the audience. No one's calling out, hey, you're shooting a porno in a laundromat, go! Like, you're not doing that, unless you're playing a very different game, a version of the game. But
You could be.
are getting, yeah, exactly. Or you are getting the suggestions from essentially what is the narrator and the world builder, which is your dungeon master, who's kind of leading you through the game and through the locations and through the story and playing all the characters that you guys aren't playing. You're getting that. And then, this is the coolest part of it, whatever you want to do, whatever you attempt to try in the game, how well you do or do not do it is determined by a roll of the dice. So there are a bunch of different kinds of dice. The most ubiquitous one, and the one that was originally like the one that everybody focused on, that this is a D&D thing, is the 20-sided die.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll roll that die, like say, for example, you're a character and you're walking through the forest and you want to climb a tree to be able to look around. You're going to make a roll for that to see how well you climb that tree or what you see. Or if you encounter danger there or anything like that. But it is all made up as you go along.
Is it like performance based then?
It can be. My introduction to it was playing with my friends, at my friend's house. And for most people, that's their introduction to it. So it's not so much performance based, but you are playing a role. It's just that you're not playing a role necessarily for an audience other than your peers who are at the table. And you take delight in that. If you're playing with friends, it's always delightful to see how everybody's mind works differently and how people work collaboratively together. But it has become more mainstream now, for sure, because of what's called actual play entertainment.
Okay.
Whether it's D&D actual play or other game systems that are available out there to play in different worlds or different mechanics. There are companies like Critical Role and Dimension 20 who have done so much to push this kind of world into the forefront and to invite people in. If I may, I figured this out this year and now I can't unsee it. I took the right pill. I didn't realize until much later in life, i.e. this year, that when I was growing up, I was a little Indian girl in Orange County, California. There were not a lot of girls. I was the only Indian at my school up until senior year. I was very different. I was very other. But in this game that I learned to play thanks to my older brother depositing the basic set on my lap when I was 8 years old, in this game, it doesn't matter whether you are a giant orc or a tiny halfling. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've come from. You have the possibility to save the day. You have the opportunity to be a part of changing the world. And every party, for the most part, is made up of people with different abilities and different skills, and some are better at this than others, and some are better at that than others. So there's no sense of like, I have to be a straight A student, although I'm Asian, so I did have to be a straight A student, but there's no sense of everybody has to be good at everything. There's a feeling of, if I'm at this table, I'm going to help people do things that I'm better at and they're not, and they're going to help me, and we've got each other's backs. And it's good that we're different. So from a very young age, I knew what the experience of being other but not othered felt like. Whether that was my experience in the world or not, I had that experience at the table.
I'm already kind of sold. A scenario where like you're coming home from the session and being like, I can't believe that we were cornered by,
Yes.
all these orcs, and then a 20 rolled
Exactly.
right on my turn.
That is exactly it. Like there's such a thrill when it's the right roll. And also for the live shows that happen in front of an audience, I remember having this conversation with Matthew Mercer the night before they went on at Wembley, because they had sold out Wembley Stadium, right? And he was talking
Wow.
about how he obviously was a little nervous because that's a big thing. Even Matthew Mercer or Brendan Lee Mulligan or Bria, even all of these people, like we all, like everybody cares, so everybody has those moments. But I realized when I was talking to him, I said, you know what? I don't think there will have been a friendlier audience ever in Wembley Arena than there will be tomorrow night. Because, when people come to see sports, they'll turn on their own team if someone screws up. When someone comes to see a rock concert, half the people there were there because their boyfriend or girlfriend dragged them there. But when you have this D&D audience, this TTRPG audience, it doesn't matter whether you roll a natural 20 or a 1. They might be disappointed for the character, but they are never disappointed in you because they know that means there's more story.
Yeah.
They are excited about the story. There's no winning D&D. It's not about, oh, we have to win. Sure, you can win a battle. You can have that happen. There are also tragic endings that happen that are really painful, but that feel successful, that feel fulfilling. It's definitely, hands down, some of the most rewarding and satisfying acting I've gotten to do in my life.
Wow. Yeah, and I think it comes back a little bit to the community aspect that you
Yep.
were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah. And especially when, I came back to playing TTRPGs in 2018 because Marisha Ray, who's also one of the founders of Critical Role, I had met her and Matthew when we did the Overwatch cast party because he is Cassidy in the game. And we had talked a little bit. They were telling me about their D&D show, and I was like, oh, I played D&D when I was a kid. I miss it, And so she had suggested that I come play this new game. And so that was when I came back to it. But what was also different when I came back to it was I was playing at a table of people who, one way or the other, whether it was writers or game directors or whomever, they were at this table because they were committed to telling stories.
Mm.
It was a big part of who they were, not just their careers. And when you have a table full of people who all know the goal here is to tell a great story, and that means I will step back when I want your story to come forward. That means I might serve up some conflict that will help you tell the story. That kind of mutual orchestration of things. Your DM is going to pull things out, help you tell the story better. Oh, it's so uplifting because now you are the actor and the writer's room. And there are definitely games that I have played where if we sat down in a writer's room, we wouldn't have been able to come up with a story that happened because the dice said so. And then someone took that die roll and said, cool, this is what I'm going to do with that natural 1, or this is what I'm going to do with that extreme failure, or whatever it is. It's really, really special.
That sounds cool. So it sounds like a lot is riding on the DM.
It is, but also on the players. The DM, again, is sort of like the ringmaster, the leader, the narrator. Look, I only started DMing last year, so I'm pretty brand new to it. But the DM is like the purveyor of fun. A lot is resting on them in terms of the world building and introducing, kind of like guiding you where you're going based on your decisions. But if you don't have a group of players who are also as committed to telling a great story as that DM, it can be unfulfilling. A great DM also, though, will help the players tell the story, will ask the right questions. If there's someone extra quiet at the table? What is your character thinking right now?
Mm-hmm.
How does your character react internally or externally? How is this affecting you? So that you help people really clock, oh yeah, I guess this affects my character this way, which is a part of the story.
You said you just started DMing last year. That kind of brings me to my next question. I know that you're working on or have worked on something called Sunderfolk.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
We sure can. So Sunderfolk, what a wonderful game. I'm so thrilled to have been a part of Sunderfolk. It lives at the bridge between video game RPGs and tabletop RPGs. So it's this wonderful combination of both worlds. And the creators over at Dreamhaven have very much said, we understand that for a lot of people, playing a tabletop role-playing game feels like a heavy lift. There's all these books, there's all this stuff to learn, but we want people to have that experience. And so this enables them to have a way in. Similarly, the folks who play TTRPGs but maybe haven't played video games before, this allows them a way in. So it's this wonderful mobile cooperative game that you can play. You all use your phones as your like controllers, and they help you make decisions, but you do it together with whoever you're playing with, and the whole game itself is up on your screen, your TV screen or whatever screen you're using. I was thrilled when Chris Sagati, who is the head of Dreamhaven over there, hit me up to like have a conversation about it. It was definitely not just pitching me about it. It was definitely him making sure, is this the right person to do it? Because they wanted so much to be of service to the community. And that's my big thing. Like I love the fact that this enables more people to have an entree into this world. Plus the graphics are just gorgeous, the music, all of it. And the big challenge was that I was the GM, the game master, but I was also all of the voices of all of the NPCs, like you are when you are the game master or the dungeon master, which is not a challenge I have ever done in voiceover. So that was so much fun. So much fun to build that with the devs. I have a very, very soft place in my heart for that game.
How many characters total did you voice?
Somewhere in the 20s.
A good amount. That's impressive. Going through some of the projects you've worked on and listening back on some of the voices, you definitely have it in you. You have so many different voices in there.
There are a lot of voices in my head. So many voices in my head. And some of them actually make it out and onto the microphone, and some of them are just still in there.
One really deep cut of a video game that I wish a lot more people would have played, that I'm a big fan of, that I just found out you were in, is one called Indivisible.
I was, as soon as you said deep cut, I was so happy that you said Indivisible, because I was hoping it was that one. What a fun game. That was also the first time I got to play a villain in a game, which I was thrilled about. It's such a cool game and such a simple but special game.
It is.
I really, really loved that game too. That was really fun.
The person who helmed that game is a really big fighting game person, and so a lot of fighting game elements get brought into the gameplay. That being my favorite genre of video games, I jumped in and fell in love with the characters and the gameplay. It was such a wonderful, and the story too. It was a great story.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You meet characters, and it's a journey.
And then, there's a twist at the end that I super love that I don't want to spoil for anyone.
Yeah, I know.
There's like a lot of really great stuff in that game.
We got to talk about it. This is the game that I kind of met you through. Me and Brand play this game. Gosh, we played this game for like 2-3 years, starting in 2020, and I mained you for a little bit, but I just couldn't wrap my head around the complexities of the gameplay style. Our girl Rampart in Apex Legends. How was working as Rampart for you?
Oh my god, it was so much joy. Of all the characters I've had to play, that one's probably the most like me.
I'm scared now.
I mean, I don't have a giant gun named Sheila, but although I do have a 3D replica of it that someone made for me in the house.
Nice.
That's amazing.
But her no filter sense of humor, and that sense that, like, for all the other characters in Apex, when you hear their backstories, there's like a deep tragic thing that has happened or something like that that has spurred them on to go to these games, right? So yeah, Rampart, I'm not spoiling anything for anyone. Yeah, Rampart's shop burned down, but she just got back up. She was like, cool, I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna move in with Mirage, no big deal. I always think of the Chumbawamba song when I think of her. I get knocked down and I get up again. Ain't never gonna keep me down. Like, that's fully that character. The only thing that is very different from two things that are very different is that I am usually wearing high heels, so I'm a little more like Symmetra in that way. And that side pony, that is an impractical hairstyle. I can't rock a side pony. It doesn't stay in one place. She's magic that she can make that happen. But yeah, I really love the sense of humor that they wrote into her. The fact that she has sort of that like mischievous laugh came out of me laughing at the lines and time laughing at getting to say the lines because they were so funny. They put dope in there because I say dope a lot. Like it was just a really collaborative, wonderful combination. And especially in 2020, when obviously we needed some levity and we needed some places, we needed a haven to go to. It
Absolutely.
was a really special time to have that character come out. It was actually very cool because lockdown happened while we were in the process of doing this character, and they needed to do some performance capture, some facial capture for it. So they sent the whole rig to my house. My husband got to put the dots on my face with eyeliner, and I'm running around the house pretending to jump out of planes. And it was like an excellent example of where there's a will, there's a way. They were not going to not release this character.
I remember so many voice actors had to build studios in their house. They were like from their
So
closet.
I'm so lucky because I'm lucky for more reasons that I'm married to who I'm married. But my husband is a professional touring musician and a music producer. So we already had converted one of our bedrooms into a music studio, and the closet
Perfect.
there was already a vocal booth. We'd been singing in there and playing
All
music
right.
in there since we moved in. So for me, it was very smooth. That said, once we started filming Ms. Marvel and I was not home anymore, I recorded an entire game in a pillow fort with a remote mic. And a lot of people were doing that. A lot of people were making their home studios in their closets. And I also love that because it proved that we could do it anywhere with the right engineers and the right equipment. Even though I can record from home, I always prefer to go into a studio. There ain't no way I'm going to engineer that session as well as the engineer who is there at the studio. I love going there, and it's freeing. As an actor, you want to be able to focus on the acting, and as an engineer, you want to be able to focus on the engineering. You want to be able to focus in that moment, and we don't necessarily get that opportunity, certainly not when we're at home. So can I tell you about what I want to tell you about right now?
Anytime.
So since I have now fully sucked you into the world of D&D, my favorite thing that I am doing right now, and that is going to be happening on October 20th, is called the Puppy Roll. This is the second year we have done this. It is the Puppy Roll 2, and this is a live stream charity event where all of us will be playing Dungeons and Dragons as our pets. So we will have little doggy warriors and little doggy wizards. I am the doggy master of the adventure, also playing my dog Charlie, who is the mayor of the town that they will be visiting. But we do this charity event for an organization called Petco Love that I connected with a few years ago that I absolutely adore. Wonderful 501c3 that is benefiting shelters and adoption agencies and initiatives nationwide. And so yeah, we're going to be doing that again on October 20th, and the mayhem shall commence.
I feel less bad about my dogs barking here and there.
I have been totally
interview.
I've been watching your dogs walking back and forth, and I've been just like biting my tongue because I'm like, oh, who's that? Tell me who that is. Tell me what the breed is. Tell me everything about them.
Yeah, Cusco and Nori, my two little buddies. Nori's the little black one, Cusco's the little white one, and they're both poodle mixes. Brandon has a special relationship with my dogs.
Oh, sounds like there's a story
Dogs.
there. Gotcha. You're a big dog guy.
Yeah, I'm a big dog guy. Yeah, that's it. How'd you know?
There's something for everyone. Listen, I am a small dog and my husband is a big dog. So, hey, there's room for all of us.
Especially in the world of D&D. So put those dogs in there.
Right.
Those are orcs.
It's exactly the same thing that I was talking about. My little guy, he was a Chihuahua Pomeranian. And so obviously his strength stat is very low, but his charisma is through the roof. And then we have a big, beautiful husky who's coming in as a wizard. Like we have all sorts of different breeds coming in to save the day. And they're freaking adorable. And the people playing them are freaking adorable. Matthew Mercer's coming into play, Abria Iyengar, Maggie Robertson from Resident Evil, which you guys may have played.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley Johnson, who everyone in the gaming world knows from something, and everyone in the world knows from something, whether it's from television or games or video games. And Jonathan Graziano. Most people know him from his online presence as a dog owner because he had this beautiful pug named Noodle. And during the pandemic, he created this thing where, is it a Bones Day or a No Bones Day for Noodle? And people just connected to it. And so now Jonathan's coming in because he's a big D&D player. Emily Axford from Dimension 20 and Ginny D from the internet. Like it's
a party.
Fun. It is definitely a party. That is for sure. It's going to be very chaotic, and God help me by the end of the night, but it's going to be amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Hope we raise $1 gazillion for these animals.
This is a ticketed event, or?
No, this is just a live stream event. It's going to be on my YouTube page, youtube.com/sweetange, which is my handle everywhere else, but we'll also have it on thepuppyroll.com. And right now people can go to our Tiltify page and donate to vote in polls that will change the game. We're going to have rewards rewards available. We're going to have auction items. There's going to be a little bit of everything on there.
That sounds like a lot of fun. A great introduction to the Dungeons and Dragon worlds, dare I say.
It will definitely be a zany one. Last year's is still up on my YouTube channel, and I was rewatching it to kind of prep for this year's, and I was just like, my friends are so fun. These folks are the best, just the best. And this community, we raised over $40,000 on our last
Oh,
stream.
wow.
What did you work on on glitch text? Was
I
writing,
was the
yeah.
grandmother.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Okay, so funny. Okay, I know exactly that character.
That was such a fun show. I was so happy to get to be a part of that one. This was such a fun way to end it because it was so just playful and fun. Yay!
All right, and we're out.
Hey everybody, it's Ray here. Just wanted to thank you for tuning into the Dire Pass Level podcast. If you want to hang out and join us for the next episode, make sure to like and subscribe. That way you're notified when our next episode releases. If you really, really, really liked it, you'd do us a solid if you left us a review. Reviews are a great way to spread the word about our podcast, and the more gamers to share these stories with, the better. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. There we go.